Welcome to Bench to Bedside, a weekly series of live conversations about recent advances in cancer, from the research bench to treatment at the patient's bedside. And now, your host and the director of the University of Kansas Cancer Center, Dr. Roy Jensen.
Coping with a cancer diagnosis in and of itself can be overwhelming, but managing cancer during a global pandemic presents even greater challenges for a patient's psychological, emotional, economic, and social well-being. Just as important is the impact on the patient's family. Fortunately, at the University of Kansas Health System and the University of Kansas Cancer Center, we have Turning Point. Turning Point is the only organization in the Kansas City area that provides innovative, educational, and comprehensive support services to enhance the lives of adults, children, and families living with cancer and other serious or chronic physical illnesses. Turning Point provides novel educational services and tools to inspire patients and their families to take charge of their illness and live life to the fullest. These services are open and free of charge to participants no matter where you receive your care or cancer treatment. Good morning. I'm Dr. Roy Jensen, director of the University of Kansas Cancer Center, and with me to talk about coping with cancer during a pandemic are Lizzie Wright, Turning Point Adult Program Director, and cancer survivor John Swainston, who is here via Skype to talk about how Turning Point has helped him cope with isolation during this pandemic. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of Bench to Bedside. So Lizzie, I want to start with you. Can you tell us more about Turning Point? What is this organization's purpose, and how does it go about helping patients and caregivers coping with serious illness?
Yeah, so Turning Point was created in 2001, and really our mission was to reach people who are living with an illness and their supporters. And we do that by providing programs, educational and support programs like exercise. We have Tai Chi, we have yoga and chairs, Pilates, and then we also offer mindfulness and meditation classes. And we also have specific classes for supporters, so those who are taking care of somebody who is living with an illness. And we do that through staff members who teach those programs, and then also contract facilitators who are licensed in the field that they teach. So we have clinical social workers, we have licensed professional counselors and certified yoga teachers. So they teach our programs and really reach those who are struggling with this new normal after they get a diagnosis as significant as cancer. And also like to point out that it doesn't have to be cancer. It could be any physical illness like Parkinson's, autoimmune disease, diabetes. Any of those would make you eligible to take our programs.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, COVID-19 has forced all of us to adapt and adjust to how we, live our lives and conduct business, and obviously provide patient care. And I'm sure Turning Point is no different. With the large patient population that is at high risk for serious consequences for COVID, what steps has Turning Point taken to adapt and to serve even more patients?
Yeah, so when the shutdown happened in March, it was a scary time for everybody, but we tried to scramble and move a lot of our programs online. And we did that through help from the hospital, helped us establish Zoom accounts. So we did a lot of teaching to participants and facilitators so they would understand this new platform that we were teaching. And now we're offering like 20 to 30 programs per week virtually. And we've had great participation. I think people have been really hungry for the connection and to continue to use our programs for support. And the cool part about going online is that we've been able to reach people who have not been able to come to our programs before. Maybe they're living in Western Kansas. We've had people even as far as Chicago and the West Coast who are tuning in for our programs. So that has been one perk of going online. We're able to reach more people and also those who maybe aren't feeling up to it because they are dealing with an illness. So they can tune in from their couch.
Sure. So John, we want to bring you into the conversation. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your cancer diagnosis, and really how you became involved with Turning Point.
Yeah, I'm 76. I'm retired and I live alone. Uh, I am a three-time cancer survivor. The first cancer came in 2000. It was Bowen's disease, a skin cancer. This was prior to Turning Point. That one was sort of devastating. I have a very large history of cancer in my family. My mother died of cancer. Her mother died of cancer. My mother's sister died of cancer. My father's mother died of cancer. My father had cancer, but that didn't kill him. He was killed in an automobile accident. Turning Point, did not exist. There was no support. I thought I was dead. I went to an attorney, got the will set up, and sat and waited. And funny enough, that was actually taking care of surgery. They cut it all out, and it was gone. And that was quite a relief. The actual getting involved in Turning Point came in 2007. I had a quadruple bypass then. So I had three 100% and one 99% artery blockage. So they did the quad surgery, and after that I was diagnosed with acute surgical depression, post-surgical depression. So they informed me of this organization called Turning Point, which I went to and took classes from to help deal with the post results of having heart surgery, which was quite devastating in a way because I wasn't able to do anything I used to do. So Turning Point helped me with depression, and that was the first big thing. Then in 2012, I got prostate cancer. Very aggressive, 3 tumors, radiation for 45 days, and 2 years of hormone therapy. I got the pleasure of going through and experiencing female menopause through the hormone therapy. My hat's off to all women who do that. Followed another few years later, I had skin cancer on my forehead, top of my head, 80% pre-cancer, 20% cancer, and it was treated with chemo, topical chemo, which I did not know existed. I also had a stroke in that time, which brought back the depression. And that's kind of it. That's me. And in isolation. I have been in isolation almost at least 80% of the time. I hardly ever go out.
Well, you've certainly earned your frequent flyer points in the medical system. So maybe could you help us understand how Turning Point has specifically helped you to cope with isolation during the COVID pandemic, and what tools have you learned to help aid you in getting through this time?
Sure. Of interest, I was an accountant, so I'm used to counting things. Last year, 2019, I was involved in 83 Zoom sessions. The majority of those are with Turning Point. The tools, one of the most valuable ones to me has been meditation, which is something I would have never thought to do. I learned how and still do and still take classes. I'm starting a class in February with the director of the Buddhist temple in Kansas City. I learned how to eat better, what foods to eat, how to take care of my body. During the isolation, I gained a lot of weight. I was a nervous eater. I ate because that was something to do. I learned how to exercise properly. I do Tai Chi. I am a part of a every week wellness session in which we have a group of people that just talk, just like a family. I learned more about depression and how to cope with depression, and I learned writing, how to write. So those have all been very beneficial to me, and all of those were learned through Turning Point and Turning Point sessions and the people that they have doing them. Excellent, excellent program. I can't say enough about it. It's been a lifesaver for me.
Well, that certainly sounds like a very comprehensive set of services that you've taken great advantage of. If you're just joining us, we're here with Lizzie Wright, Turning Point Adult Program Director and cancer survivor, three-time cancer survivor John Swainston to talk about how Turning Point helps patients cope with their disease in isolation during this pandemic. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. And remember to share this link with people who may benefit from our discussion. Use the hashtag #BenchToBedside. So, Lizzie, I want to turn back to you. We're almost 1 year into the COVID-19 pandemic. What are some tips that you could offer our audience in terms of, maybe those that are most vulnerable, like cancer patients, for coping with isolation?
Yeah, so this is something where not only cancer patients are dealing with, but we are struggling, globally with this pandemic on trying to figure out how to live with this new normal. So I would say number one is to get involved with something. If it's not Turning Point programs, there's some wonderful community support agencies here in town. The library system also offers online support. There's Gilda's Club. There's all sorts of things that you can have access to now virtually that we didn't have before. So really trying to get involved, and that might look different for some people. John uses Turning Point programs, but other people might use, individual counseling. We have some great mental health professionals in this city that you can reach out to who are also offering virtual support and sessions. And then my other suggestion would be to create a schedule. We're all struggling with this lack of routine right now. Mm-hmm. Nothing's on the calendar, and that can be really scary. So, John has made Turning Point really a part of his weekly schedule, and you can do that because we offer so many. So it might be taking yoga and chairs on Monday and meditation on Wednesdays. So really try to create a schedule for yourself, a routine for self-care. And then social interaction is a big one. So scheduling that time, even if it's virtual, it's better than nothing to talk to family and friends, write letters, kind of really try to connect with people, because that's what we're really missing, and that's something that we all need.
Mm-hmm. So John, I understand that you write poetry, which is something that you haven't always done that. Tell us a little bit about your poetry and what you've learned about yourself as a result of your involvement with this program in Turning Point.
Actually, poetry is something I probably never thought I would ever be doing in my entire life. I was the person that was thrown out of college because I couldn't pass the English exam the first time. Probably the best way to answer that question is I'll read you just a very short poem. Living all alone, I was the only friend I had. Everywhere I went, I was always there. It was there I learned a skill I didn't even know I had. To write these lines each morning has become a habit I think I'll never regret. I did not think it could be done, but I did it. So here I sit in isolation, smiling as each line goes from head to paper. Never knew a poem could be this fun, for I truly think they are the light from my soul that was never turned on until now. Thank you, Turning Point, for saving me.
That's great, John. You could find yourself at the next inauguration if you keep that up. That was really awesome. That was great. So John, what advice do you have for other high-risk patients who may be dealing with isolation?
I think the most important thing is I think you need to find, and Lizzie mentioned it, you need to find the thing that you want to do. A hobby, something you've never done before, something you've always wanted to do. Be yourself. Make a list of things that on that list you may all of a sudden may spark, and you'll say, oh, I should be doing this. Write a journal. Write your memoirs. Both my parents passed, and all of our family history left with them. I have no family history. I'm writing now, giving my 4 children what I know of my family and what I've done in life. I think it's important. And then do them. Schedule. I do this program called Wellness with Turning Point every Monday morning. I do other programs, as I said, the Tai Chi. So once you've done all of that, make sure you make time for yourself to do the things that you've never done before that you've always wanted to do, and you'll find yourself smiling. At least I hope you will.
Well, that's great advice, John. You know, Lizzie, it almost sounds like Turning Point was designed for this pandemic. And if someone wants to learn more about Turning Point or to sign up for specific classes or programs, where would you suggest they go?
So all the information's on our website, turningpointkc.org, or if you're on the health system website, you can find us on there as well, since we are actually department of the health system, but open to everyone. And then we have a Facebook. Turning Point Center for Hope and Healing is our Facebook account, and we also have weekly email blasts. And then if you want to request a printed calendar be mailed to you, you can do that, and it's kind of nice to be able to highlight classes that might look good to you that you want to sign up for.
So, John, we can't thank you enough for being willing to come on this morning and share with us. What key takeaways would you like our viewers to remember from our discussion today?
Probably the most important is that you're not alone. You may be in isolation, but you're not alone. There's a family. I have friends I thought I would never have because of Turning Point in the sessions that I've been in. I've had Christmas cards and birthday cards come from people that I've met by Turning Point. And know that you can do it. You can make improvements no matter what your issue is. There is something that can be done. Be the who that you. Turning Point can show you the way.
That's great advice, John. Lizzie, I'm going to have it be your turn now. What are your key takeaways?
You know, echoing what John said, you know, it's so important right now to reach out and ask for help, and that's really a hard thing to do. It's hard to ask for help. But like our children's program director, Annie Seal, she always talks with families about illness and explaining it to their kids. And she reminds them that children do not have a chapter in their books for this. And really that applies to all of us right now, especially with an illness or with a pandemic. We don't have a chapter in our books for that. So reaching out to people who have done this before, reaching out to Turning Point, and even if it's not through our programs, we will find resources that will fit what you're looking for to help support you through this time. So I would say just reach out to someone, if not us.
So what a great body of work you guys do over at Turning Point. What would you say are your mechanisms or methods to give people skills to kind of deal with life's challenges and buffer us from all these various assaults like cancer or COVID or whatever illness they might have?
Sure. So through our programs, we teach things like self-calming, ways to decrease your stress and anxiety. So whether it's from the pandemic that you're experiencing stress, or maybe you're waiting for a cancer scan to come back, or you're in the chemotherapy room trying to get your heart rate down, we teach tips to help deal with those things. So deep breathing, meditation and mindfulness work, changing negative thought patterns. We have so many different ways of helping people really take control of their lives and able to live that to the fullest and face adversity. So we do that through programs and skilled facilitators, and then also through bringing people together who are experiencing something like an illness together to be able to support each other. That's how we do that.
Great. Well, I want to thank you, Lizzie, and John for being here this morning. That's it for today. Join us next time for Bench to Bedside. Thanks for watching.